1 month ago, I asked the question, is this another hyped up iPhone? Yes. And quite some people that I talked to actually disagreed. So after 1 month of using the iPhone camera now, let's revisit this question. Was I wrong? Let's find out. The iPhone 15 Pro Max has 3 physical lenses on the back of the phone: an ultra wide, a main camera at 24mm, and a tele zoom lens. Now, Apple says that this phone has 7 lenses, not 3, but that is because the other 4 are digital zoom lenses. Using the main lens and its 2x digital zoom lens are great. I've been using this a ton in the past month. The videos look really great straight out of the cameras. I love the colors and the dynamic range. And all of these videos are shot in 4K and not in ProRes log, which we will touch on in a second. The stabilization of this lens is really great too. I think that the videos come out looking super good except for a few walking shots, but I wasn't even trying, to be honest. I was just like literally walking around like this just to test out the stability, and you can definitely see some bouncing. Am I expecting there to be no bouncing and this to be all magic? No, even though Apple does call everything magical now. Have you noticed it? They don't call it revolutionary anymore. They call it magical now.
Magical experiences. Magical.
In my last video, I was positive about the main lens, and I still am. And honestly, in general, I think it is really cool what phones can do nowadays. And the fact that we have this in our pockets now, I mean, as a lady, you got it in your bag because our pockets are pretty much non-existent. But that's for another video. It's just really satisfying that wherever you go, if you have your phone on you, you can always take good quality videos that you can share with your friends, or you can even put in a YouTube video if you want to. The ultra wide lens I haven't really used a ton. Now, it is a really fun lens to shoot photos and videos with. The quality is also really great. I just personally haven't really found the need for it in the past month as I was traveling. So let's move on to the 120mm or the telezoom lens, because I have some thoughts about that one. The 120mm or the 5x lens, it is impressive. And now that I've been using it more, I can say that the quality is actually really good. However, and I said this in my previous video as well, I still don't know how much you're going to be using the 5x lens compared to a 3x lens that you get on the iPhone 15 Pro, but that is honestly up to you to decide. I definitely thought that I was going to only be using this for concerts, for example, to really get up close, but I have actually been using it way more during my travels, which was very interesting. And also the quality of the photos, really good. However, when it comes to the video capability, I still have my opinions. In my previous video, I expressed my disappointment when it came to the quality of the video when shooting with the 5x lens, because it's pretty much unusable. It is so jittery, it's so shaky, especially when you're walking around. And then a lot of you said, well, there's actually an action mode on that. So for the past month, I've been testing out the action mode using the 5x. And I will say, in the ideal perfect lighting conditions, absolutely this works. However, anything less than ideal, I'm just gonna let you judge for yourself. Here's 2 videos shot side by side. One of them is shot with the 5x lens, no action mode turned on, and the other one is with the action mode turned on. And it just looks incredibly poopy when you're shooting indoors or just in less than ideal lighting situations. It is so unusable, in my opinion, that I just rather turn it off when I'm shooting indoors than turning it on and having stable footage. At this point, you're gonna have to make a decision. Do I want grainy, poopy looking footage, but at least it's stable? Or do I want like unstable footage, but at least it looks nice and clean? I'll go for that one. Other than that, I think that in ideal lighting conditions, the 5x lens on the iPhone 15 Pro Max is actually incredible, but I'll let it up to you to decide whether you want a 3x lens or a 5x lens. In case you didn't know, if you start filming on your phone with the 1x lens and then you start zooming in all the way to what you think is the 5x lens, you'll notice that the quality is actually really, really bad. And that is because at this point, you're digitally zooming in, because what Apple is trying to avoid is jumping between those lenses, right? So instead of that, they want a smooth zoom in. But that means you get a digital zoom. However, if you film immediately with the 5x lens, you're gonna get that nice, clean look. So that is also something that I want you to keep in mind. The iPhone 15 Pro Max shoots up to 4K 60 frames per second in ProRes log if you're shooting with an external drive. Otherwise, you're limited to 4K 30 frames per second. The ProRes log footage actually looks really good, and I've said this before, I think it is incredible how good phones have become become nowadays. It's insane. But I did notice that I'm not shooting in ProRes log as much, and I haven't in the past month, but this was already something that I expected because I don't use my phone for that kind of stuff. I think it's cool that we can do it. I just don't really do it. And I said this in my previous video as well. I really don't like the fact that in the native camera app, and I know people are going to say you can use a third-party app, and I'm like, yes, but Apple is like literally promoting this phone with a filmmaker coming out of the sky with explosions everywhere. If you're gonna tell me that I can do that kind of production, I want metering options. I want to know how well my video is exposed. It's just a matter of like crossing your fingers and hope that the video turns out well, which so far has been the case, so that is really good. All that being said, I did really enjoy color grading the ProRes log footage that came out of my iPhone. So if you want to see a tutorial on this, then make sure that you comment Gizmo below and make sure that you subscribe so you do not miss out on that video. It is super fun. Now the iPhone 15 Pro Max obviously has a smaller sensor than my full frame cameras. So what does that mean? That means that I wanted to try out the low light capabilities. I just shot some random videos, nothing cinematic. I just shot some random videos to try this out, and honestly, it doesn't really disappoint me. The only issue that we still have though is that the iPhone has some lens flares. They have added a layer of coating to reduce the lens flare, but they're still there. Does it ruin the image? No. Does it take away from the image? Yes. It kind of does. Another thing that I talked about in my previous video was the focus depth, which was something that I was actually quite excited about. You can take a photo, and then when you edit the photo, you can refocus on something else and you can adjust the aperture. Again, this was something that I was excited about seeing, but how many times have I used it in the past month? 0. Now, this doesn't mean that I don't like the option anymore, because I think it's great that we have it. It just means that I personally haven't really found the use for it in the last month. I guess when it comes down to the depth of field, it just looks a bit artificial to me. I will not be using it. I also won't be using cinematic mode because I totally understand its software. And yes, technology, it's great. I feel like I have to like point that out because otherwise people are going to be like, technology, it's so amazing. And it is. However, I will not be using it because it looks artificial to me, especially when you're taking portraits. I prefer to just not have any depth of field if I shoot it with my iPhone than have the awkwardly blurred hairs around my face or anyone's face. So was I wrong? Having had more time with the phone now, I will say that I am more excited about the cameras than when I first got the phone. That being said, I still do not think it is as revolutionary or as magical as some people claim that it is. If you're a filmmaker or photographer and you've been using a camera for many years, the quality that you're gonna get out of this iPhone will just be stunning. You know what you're doing, you know how to hold a camera, you can literally make footage out of a potato look good, okay? What I'm trying to do with these videos is I try to have more of a real world approach, or like a more realistic approach for the people that might not specifically have that kind of experience. I want to show more real world photos and videos that aren't shot in ideal lighting conditions, that don't look like super cinematic. Chances are, if you are a professional, you're probably not looking at this phone to be your next professional camera because you have the expensive camera right there. But this is just really great to have in your pocket or in your bag. And I do not disagree. This iPhone is great. I've said it many times now. What we can do with our phones now is absolutely amazing. But if I sound a bit more skeptical, that is why. I want to show you a more real world view on using this phone so you do not get disappointed when you spend, I don't even want to talk about how much money on a phone. This is all my opinion, so I'd love to know your opinion. Let me know in the comments if you have the phone, how do you like it? If you don't have the phone, do you want to get it? Why yes, why no? Honestly, exciting times. I'm excited, and I'm really excited to see what the future holds. And in the near future, you might want to watch this video right here, and don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss out on new videos. Thank you.